been a while, hasn't it? But I've got a great idea. At least I think it's a great idea. How many times have you thought to yourself, man, everybody's just making the same old lures, you know, it's a shad, a bluegill, baby bass pattern, little crappie pattern, whatever, and you think to yourself, is that it? Is it over? Is it done? I was thinking to myself, you know, why not make a lure of a fish that used to be in our waters, but it was so daggum good eating that they've been all eaten up, and so you don't see them anymore. You never run across one, but they exist in rare locations. Are you ready for this? We're going to make a chevron tang. It's a freshwater species. It's a tropical fish. Okay, it's something you would see in an aquarium. But, you know, you have to ask yourself, why don't you see these in like Lake Cumberland? Well, I'll tell you why. Because that bad boy sticks out like a sore thumb. It's going to get eaten. And so that is that's the whole reason I want to make this sucker. I mean, if you were, think about that. If you were that guy right there, where would you hide? You're going to get eaten. All right. So that's the goal. We're going to make a tang. It's called a chevron tang. And actually, this is a saltwater species. But we're going to have fun. Are you ready? Let's get started. There we go. Look at that thing. That's going to get eaten.
Wait.
Holy moly, bears are going out that thing. Look closely, all right? You can't really see where the fin, the dorsal fin, and I guess this would be the anal fin, you can't see where they start and stop. The color blends into them. I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to do some more research. I'm going to look for actual footage of them swimming, because when they're swimming I can kind of get a chance to see what they look like face on and see some of the details about the way their lips and mouth are made and that kind of thing. So I'll do some research. I'll go over it with my people, get back to your people, and then we'll continue on. Now check this out. That's not it. Wait a minute. Oh, here it comes.
People that YouTube shows my videos to, the more people who hopefully will have success in the hobby.
Yeah. Oh, there it is. Look at him. He does have a fairly distinguished break line there. You just couldn't see it because of the lighting, the way the picture was taken. And look at them. Look at that forehead. Oh no, that's the wrong guy. All right, I made another discovery here too. This picture here, it looks like the tail fin is rounded off a little bit at the corners, but here you can see they were probably rolled over and give you that appearance of a radius, but they're fairly sharp. You know, if I start this thing and you can...
To see if we can continue to make a difference.
You can tell he's got a decent pointed tail. So just little details I'm picking up already are very helpful. You know, when you get a picture of a fish, you're very limited. But you start getting video and you start seeing more details. You can see muscle structure. You see like what are these things called? I got these pretty good size eye brow. I don't know what you call that. They're not eye sockets. They're, I don't know. That's, what do you call that? What you know, the protrusion of the brow there. There's probably some like occipital brow or some kind of, there's probably some kind of technical name that I have no idea what it is. But anyway, enough of the tomfoolery. Time to get back to Tangy. Tangy. What are we going to call this guy? The Chevron Tang. We got to nickname him. Tangster. The little Tangster. The little Tangster. Alright. Okay, after studying the video a little bit, I can see that the actual fish's body breaks right in there, and then right in there. Okay, now we're going to save those because they're going back on. We're going to make those out of something softer, more flexible. I'm going to cut the tail too. Alright, so now we're getting more like the body shape. So I gotta go back and cut the body shape. Body shape, from what I could see, is very thin, starting back here at the tail. You know, I'm going to leave it probably, you know, even just a little thinner than that when it's all said and done. But I'm going to start there and come up, and it doesn't have like a bulgy belly or anything. It's kind of a pancakey body style. So something along those lines. Now the reason I flared out here is I want to be sure where the eyes are at. I leave plenty of meat because the eyes are kind of bulgy. The eyes are from right in here to right in there. You can kind of see a little bit of a hump there for the eyes, and so they bulge out right there. And then the snoot comes back in pretty sharply. Probably sharper than that. It definitely is sharper than that, but I have to leave the meat there for the cut when I make the cut so that I've got room for the eyes to be bulgy. Gotta have a bulgy eye. Okay, now it's time to carve this rascal down to that shape. Like I said, there's not much of a belly there. I mean, it's very thin. Okay, I have an announcement to make. The lure shop has just gained a new partner. This is my little buster, Luca Bear. And he's going to help me make lures. He loves lures. He loves trucks too, but his favorites are the fishies. The fishies.
What's that, Bruce?
That's a fishing pole. Okay. Okay, it's time to put a little bit of sandpaper to this. Get her feathered down. Get her shaped the way that I want it. And remember, we got to leave that head section there is the wider point. That's where his little bulgy eyes stick out, you know. He's bulgy.
He's bulgy.
And his snoot See that little snoot sticking out there? It's important to capture that little snoot he's got. It's a kind of a distinguishing feature on a tang, is their snoot. There's a reason you don't find these out in the wild in our area. It's because they get eaten. Okay, the gills are a little tough to see because of the color so bright, and you don't get this, shadow showing you the, detail where it's at. But studying it real closely and looking at other pictures, I've located it right in this pencil mark that I've made here. Okay, Christmas was good for a lot of things. One in particular was I got all this packaging material. Look at this plastic box I got. It's a real thin, durable, I don't know if it's Lexan, maybe it's the same stuff that PET, that like water bottles are made out of, bottles of water are made from. So I'm gonna cut that up. That's gonna be my fin material. So, fins. I'm gonna show you guys how I do my fins. Fin and the anal fin will stop and start, but I need that to go up into the meat of the crankbait a little bit, so I'm going to add on to it about a 1/4 inch. Okay. Okay, so if you study the fins, which it's going to be tough to tell from this picture, but if you look real close here on the tail, you see the tiny little what are they called? They're little rays, I guess they're called, where the little tiny bones create ridges in the tail. It's the same way if any of you ever had a bluegill in your hand, the little bones that poke you. So spines, I don't know what they call them. But anyway, I'm going to try to incorporate those into the appearance of these fins by using a fairly heavy grit sandpaper and sanding in that direction to give it that, that appearance. Okay, it's time to cut the groove for the fin, and I'm going to use this cutting wheel for my Dremel tool. You're gonna make lures, you gotta have one of these. This is very useful tool, and I could do that, maybe a video someday of all the different Dremel tools, the bits that are critical to make lures, because there's about 5 of them is all you really need if you want to get started in that. I've got probably 25, but you only need about 5 different ones really to get started. Okay, you can see here that I got the fins cut and they're pretty close to what we've got on the tang. Now it's just time to glue them in. Okay, here's a good look at the body with the fins in place. Now this pretty much is telling me that I'm going to have trouble locating the eye for the tail hook, so I may just do a single treble here. I think I will. I'll probably just do a single treble right here at the belly, and of course the nose eyelet would be here. And if I don't like the action, I can always join it. It looks like it's very, you know, being very thin and tall, you know, I'm not going to get a big wiggle. But the only way we're going to know exactly what it's going to do is we're going to put it together and put it in water. Well, this sums up our first part of this build. I'm going to have to divide this video. It's getting too long. I'm going to have to divide it up into 2 segments. So that's the first one. Old Sean Connery would say is, consider this message classified. What I'm about to tell you next. We're going to do the tangy. You know, we're sticking with Tangster. We're going to get him all buttoned up next week. But this is a cool deal here. This is just a mold. I made this mold using clear silicone. And I actually put clear resin in there and cure it with a UV light so I can make clear components. Fill it with some resin, close it up, put it in the light, make a part. But I've got a lure idea. Make a part. But I've got a lure idea. And I've already played around with this, you know, this long period where I've been making lure videos. Doesn't mean I wasn't making lures. So I was working on some stuff, you know. I was giving it this and that and, you know, trying this and that. And so we stay tuned. We're going to finish up the Tangster, and then we're going to go into some clear resin lures. And the one I want to make is so cool. It's just, well, we'll get to it. See you later, Tater, when you're a little straighter. Camera boy.